4 weeks. That's all it takes to rewrite a career. Some players arrive as stars, some walk in unknown and leave as the face of the next decade. These are the 25 players who could take over the 2026 World Cup. Not ranked by ability, not by fame, ranked by one question. Who are you going to be talking about when it's over? It starts with a player who told reporters exactly what he's here to do. Antonio Nusa, Norway. RB Leipzig's number 7, 21 years old, and the most exciting player Norway have produced in years. Asked by Norwegian media to describe his own game, he gave them one sentence: "I like to create chaos." Watch what he did to Italy in Oslo. Norway won 3-0, their first win over Italy in 25 years, and Nusa was the best player on the pitch. He set up the opener, then cut inside past 2 defenders and smashed the second into the roof of the net. In the last warm-up match before the tournament, he did it to Sweden too, scoring in a 3-1 win with Haaland and Ødegaard both rested. He goes inside or outside, off either wing, which most players at this level can't do. Most casual fans have never heard of him. That lasts exactly until the first time he does this on a World Cup pitch. And he isn't the only player in this group who treats the rulebook as optional. Rayan Cherki, France. Rayan Cherki, a creator who plays like the rules about end product never reached him. He came through at Lyon, doing the things modern coaches try to take out of the game. Back heels, no-look passes, flicks in his own half. Most players get that trained out of them. Cherki built a career on keeping it. He spots passes 2 seconds before they exist and tries them whether or not it looks reasonable to anyone else. The criticism has always been the same: too much risk, not enough end product. The talent has never been the question. Now he's in a France squad so deep that minutes are an achievement on their own, and France share a group with Norway, the team that just qualified on the back of another player who refuses to play it safe. A World Cup rewards the player who pulls off the impossible at the right moment. Cherki attempts the impossible by default. Give him 15 minutes off the bench in a tight game, and he might produce the best pass or moment of the tournament. Christian Pulisic, USA. The face of American soccer for a decade, and now the host nation's biggest name. The resume is real. Borussia Dortmund at 16, a Champions League at Chelsea in 2021. Then Milan, where he became one of the most dependable attacking players in Serie A. But he has never had this one. The United States are hosting a World Cup for the first time since 1994. The stadiums will be full of people who started watching the sport because of him, waiting for the moment they've been promised since he was a teenager. That's a specific kind of wait. Not being doubted, being believed in. The whole tournament has his name on it before a ball is kicked. Handle it, and he's an American sporting icon for the rest of his life. Kenan Yildiz, Turkey. Kenan Yildiz, 21 years old, and Juventus handed him the number 10 shirt, the one Del Piero and Dybala wore before him. Juventus don't give that shirt to projects. They gave it to Yildiz because he plays with a composure that doesn't match his age. Drifting between the lines, gliding past challenges, finishing without fuss. This season he was voted Serie A's best young player, with 10 goals and 6 assists. Turkey, meanwhile, haven't been to a World Cup since 2002, the year they surprised everyone and finished 3rd. Yildiz is one of the 2 reasons Turkey might surprise us again. In qualifying, he scored twice away in Bulgaria, the kind of night that decides whether a country travels or stays home. Debut tournaments usually take a player time to settle into. Nothing about Yildiz has ever suggested he needs it. Gilberto Mora, Mexico. When this World Cup kicks off, he will be the youngest player in it, 17 years and 240 days old. The records started early. Youngest to start and score in Mexico's top flight at 15. Youngest to debut for the senior national team at 16. A Gold Cup winner at 17. Real Madrid and Barcelona are already watching. And he's doing it at home. A teenager breaking out at a home World Cup is one of football's oldest, most reliable storylines. Pelé in 1958, Mbappé in 2018. The crowd adopts them in real time. Mexico haven't won a World Cup knockout game since 1986. If the player who finally ends that wait is a 17-year-old in front of his own people, it becomes the image of Mexico's tournament.
Michael Olise, France. One of the most aesthetically pleasing players in the game. Everything he does looks unhurried. The curled passes, the curled shots, the way the ball seems to settle the instant it reaches him. He had the season of his life at Bayern Munich, and the proof came in the Champions League, where they knocked Real Madrid out of the quarter-finals with Olise tormenting them down the right. His problem is the shirt. France's attacking talent is so deep that minutes are rationed, and keeping a place means doing what the others can't. But at a World Cup, a player like Olise needs only one run, one pass, one finish to become unforgettable. Kobbie Mainoo, England. A midfielder whose defining trait is that big games don't seem to scare him. At 18, he was starting in the knockout rounds of England's run to the Euro 2024 final, the most anxious environment in international football, for a country that has spent 60 years tormenting itself over this tournament, and he played like the noise wasn't there. The ball stuck to him, the panic never arrived. Then his club career stalled. A hard season at Manchester United pushed him to the margins, and for months it looked like he'd missed this World Cup entirely. He forced his way back into form, then back into the squad. Composure under pressure is the rarest thing a young midfielder can own, and Mainoo has shown it at the highest level already. His minutes aren't guaranteed, but when a game tightens, England knows exactly who to turn to. Arda Güler, Turkey. Real Madrid trusts him because of what his left foot can do. The passes bent through gaps that shouldn't exist. The ability to settle a match with a single moment while everyone else is watching. He's the other half of Turkey's gifted young spine, the partner to Yıldız. And Turkey's road to North America ran through the playoffs. 2 tense 1-0 nights where a single mistake meant 4 more years of waiting. Güler is the player they trusted to find the opening. Big game players aren't judged on how often they touch the ball. They're judged on what they do with the one touch that decides it. Nico Williams, Spain. A winger built entirely around running directly at people. No overthinking, no slowing down, just acceleration aimed at the space behind a fullback about to have a miserable evening. He scored in the final of Euro 2024, the tournament Spain won to confirm they were the best side on the continent, and he did it at 22, looking completely unbothered by the occasion. Spain arrive among the favourites here, and Williams is the player who makes their patient possession suddenly lethal. The team can keep the ball for 90 minutes. He's one of 2 who makes it hurt. A defender can prepare for possession football. A defender cannot prepare for someone simply faster than them who is happy to challenge him every single time. Malik Tillman, USA. The kind of player every World Cup turns from a name nobody knows into one nobody forgets. He grew up in the Bayern Munich academy and could have played for Germany. He chose the United States, his father's country, and last summer he justified it, scoring 3 times as the US fought their way to the Gold Cup final. He's an attacking midfielder with a quiet, modern game. Late runs into the box, pockets between the lines, goals that arrive without anything looking forced. For the host nation, he's the wild card. Pulisic is the certainty. Tillman is the one who could disappear into the occasion or announce himself to 100 million new viewers in a single afternoon. A home World Cup hands a player like him the biggest audience of his life and a country desperate for a new hero. He's the unknown quantity. Pulisic has been the opposite his whole career, the one everyone in football already trusts. Pedri, Spain. The midfielder who makes the hardest job on the pitch look like nothing. No sprinting, no theatrics, just a player always standing where the ball needs him to be, receiving under pressure, turning out of it, moving it on before the trap shuts. Watch him alone and you barely notice him. Watch the space he opens for everyone else and you can't see anything else. Spain are the European champions, and the tempo of the whole side runs through him. They arrive expecting to challenge for this too, and he's the reason they can. Great midfielders aren't measured in highlights. They're measured by how calm the players around them look. Around Pedri, everyone looks calm.
Hassan Ouedraogo, Germany.
A few days ago, he was on holiday. Now he's at a World Cup. He wasn't in the original plans. He's a last-minute addition to the Germany squad, called up when Lennart Karl got injured. The sort of name that gets one line in the previews and is then forgotten. Except for one detail. On his Germany debut against Slovakia, he came off the bench and scored less than 2 minutes later. The youngest player to score on his Germany debut in 71 years. This is the exact shape of a World Cup story. A young, unknown midfielder dropped into one of the biggest teams in the world with no expectations and nothing to lose. And tournaments have a habit of belonging to the players with nothing to lose. Bruno Fernandes, Portugal. A player who treats the safe pass as a personal insult. Every match he attempts the balls others see and reject, the through ball into a gap that hasn't opened, the shot from 30 yards with a square pass available. Sometimes it's infuriating. Often it decides the game. He is the creative engine of a deep Portugal side, the one who refuses to let an attack die a quiet death. And when qualification was on the line, he delivered it himself. A hat-trick against Armenia to send Portugal through. Not a poacher's lucky night. The captain settling it with his own feet. A World Cup is decided by the players who take responsibility when the game tightens and everyone else hides. Fernandes has never once hidden. Luka Modric, Croatia. He is 40 years old and still running World Cup midfields. He's won the Ballon d'Or, lifted the Champions League more times than he can casually count, and took Croatia, a country of under 4 million, to a World Cup final and a semi-final almost single-handedly. By any reasonable measure, his time at this level ended years ago. It hasn't. He still glides into space, still slides the passes that make you forget his age. Croatia keep reaching tournaments, and Modric keeps refusing to be the reason they stop. This is certainly his last World Cup, the final chapter of one of the greatest midfielders the game has produced, on the only stage that ever fully suited him. Viktor Gyökeres, Sweden. A striker who didn't so much qualify for this World Cup as carry an entire nation to it. Sweden's group campaign was a disaster, bottom of the table, not a single win, a team of good players in apparent freefall. They scraped into the playoffs through the side door, and even then the dream looked finished. Then Gyökeres took over. A hat-trick in the playoff semi-final against Ukraine. 5 days later, with the country holding its breath, the goal in the 88th minute against Poland that booked the ticket. One striker, 2 games, a nation rescued. He is power and ruthlessness with nothing decorative attached. A number 9 who bullies centre-backs and finishes everything. He plays like a man with a personal grievance, and the grievance is that nobody picked Sweden to be here. Don't be surprised if he's still scoring when the golden boot is handed out. Martin Ødegaard, Norway. The man who decides when Erling Haaland gets the ball. He's Norway's captain and its brain. The playmaker who sees the whole picture and feeds Haaland the kind of service that makes a great striker unplayable. Here's the part that gives it weight. Ødegaard was the best young player in the world once. Anointed as a teenager, signed by Real Madrid at 16, handed the future before he'd earned it. The hype came early, the platform never quite did, now it has. Norway are at their first World Cup in 28 years, they're dangerous, and the gap between a good run and a great one is whether their conductor plays his very best for a month. Alexander Isak, Sweden. Few players make scoring look this elegant. He's tall, but he moves like someone half his size. Long, gliding strides, a first touch that kills the ball dead, a finish so calm it borders on arrogant. That blend of grace with genuine pace and strength is rare. This is the stage that could lift a quietly brilliant striker into a household name. Sweden are here because of Gyökeres, but Isak is the one who turns them from a fairy tale into a genuine threat. Two top-class number 9s in a team nobody expected to qualify. That's what makes a dark horse dangerous. For Isak, the talent has never been in doubt. A tournament like this is the spotlight he hasn't had.
Jamal Musiala, Germany. Jamal Musiala. There is no more purely enjoyable player to watch in this tournament. He doesn't beat defenders so much as slip through them. Tiny touches, absurd balance, a low center of gravity that lets him turn in spaces that shouldn't allow it. Defenders commit, and he's already gone. He arrives having fought back from a serious injury, which only sharpens the story. A talent this rare returned to the stage with something to prove. Germany are rebuilding their identity, and Musiala is the brightest thing they have. Every tournament needs a player who makes you lean forward whenever he gets the ball. In a competition full of organized, drilled defenses, he's the one variable no amount of organization can plan for. Florian Wirtz, Germany. As close to a complete footballer as the modern game produces, he's good at all of it at once. Dribbling, passing, finishing, pressing, and he makes the right choice almost every time. No wasted movement, no wrong option. He reads the game half a second ahead of everyone, and that half second is the difference between a decent attack and a goal. Germany travel to North America with a young squad and real doubts about how far they can go, and Wirtz is the answer to most of them. At his ceiling for a month, he makes Germany dangerous to anyone. This is the tournament where the sport stops calling him a prospect. The next name on this list was never a prospect. He's the most argued about player in the world. Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal. 41 years old and about to play in a record 6th World Cup, something no footballer had ever managed before this summer. He's won everything else the game offers. 5 Ballon d'Ors, Champions Leagues, a European Championship with Portugal in 2016, and the one trophy that has always escaped him is this one. He's said plainly that this is his final attempt at it. The most relentless competitor the sport has produced in the last tournament of an international career spanning more than 20 years, chasing the only prize his collection lacks. He even survived a qualifying red card that threatened to rule him out of the start, the ban reduced just enough to let him play. Whether or not you think he should still be starting, and that argument will run all summer, you'll watch. Everyone will. That has never changed. He's the end of one era. The next player is a goal machine who somehow has never once set foot on this stage. Erling Haaland, Norway. Erling Haaland scores at a rate that doesn't really make sense, and this is the first World Cup he has ever reached. He's won the Champions League. He owns the Premier League's single-season scoring record. He's terrorized the best defenders alive, week after week, for years. But Norway were never good enough to get him to a World Cup, until now. This time, he made sure of it himself. 16 goals in qualifying, twice the tally of anyone else in Europe. He is physical dominance in human form. 6'4", brutally fast, merciless in front of goal. Now picture that player, starved after years of watching this tournament from his sofa, finally let loose on it. Norway have been drawn with France. The world is about to find out what Haaland does under the brightest lights there are. Jude Bellingham, England. Jude Bellingham. He is 22, and football already treats him like a fixture at the very top. He's a midfielder who scores, leads, and saves his best for the biggest games. He won La Liga in his first season at Real Madrid, while scoring goals a midfielder has no business scoring, and he carries himself with a swagger that splits the room. People either love it or can't stand it. Both reactions make the same point: you can't look away. He's been to a World Cup already. He arrived at the last one as a talent and left as a star. This time he arrives as one of the headline names of the whole tournament, in an England side that, on paper, is good enough to win it for the first time since 1966. England don't just need Bellingham to play well.
They need him to be the best player in the world for a month. Do that, and he leaves as the face of the sport. The man after him wants that title too, and may already own it.
Kylian Mbappe, France. He's already done what most players only dream about, and he did it at 19. In 2018, he ran straight through Argentina in the last 16 and scored in the final. And the sport realized it was watching the next heir to the throne. In 2022, he scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final and still lost, which might be the cruelest line in modern football. 2 World Cup finals, scored in both, and he's still not 30. Now he's at Real Madrid, scoring at a frightening clip, with France built around him as captain. There's a version of this summer where he wins the World Cup and the Ballon d'Or in the same year, and quietly ends every argument about the best player alive. He's the present king. The next name wore that crown first, and may be about to set it down for good. Lionel Messi, Argentina. This is the last time the world watches him at a World Cup. 4 years ago in Qatar, he finally completed the one part of his career that was unfinished, lifting the trophy in a final people will be describing to their grandchildren. It was supposed to be the perfect ending. Instead, at 38, he came back to defend it, at a record 6th World Cup, a milestone he reaches a day before Ronaldo does. No country has won back-to-back World Cups since 1962. Argentina, with Messi, are going to try. An injury scare in the build-up briefly threatened the whole thing. He made the squad. He's going. And every touch he takes this summer carries the weight of a goodbye the entire sport wants to witness. There's no neutral way to watch this. It's the closing scene of the greatest career football has produced. The last name on this list has already shown what he can do at the biggest stages, even at a young age. Lamine Yamal, Spain. 18 years old, and already one of the best players in the world. Read the timeline back. At 16, he became the youngest player ever to score at a European Championship, and Spain won the whole thing. At 17, he was starting Champions League knockout ties and bending in goals grown men chase for entire careers. At 18, he is the single most dangerous footballer in a Spain team built to win this. He plays with a fearlessness that can't be coached. The drop of the shoulder, the cut inside onto the left foot, the heartbeat of stillness before the pass nobody saw coming. It's the game in its purest, most joyful form, played by someone who hasn't yet been told any of it is supposed to be hard. And this isn't his ceiling. Nobody knows where his ceiling is. We're watching the very beginning of something, and the beginning already looks like this. The future of football has already been here a while. We're all just watching at the same time now. 25 players. Some will leave this World Cup exactly as they arrived. Known, respected, unchanged. A few will leave as global superstars, their whole lives rewritten by a single month. And one of them, maybe a name on this list, maybe one nobody has said yet, will produce the moment the whole tournament gets remembered by. With the World Cup just started, which player are you watching most closely? Tell me in the comments. And subscribe so you're here when one of these names takes over.